All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakah Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elected nation of Israel. This is going to be a video on how, and a warning to all the women that think that because they go to the gym, right, that they're going to be able to handle themselves in a situation where it's like apocalyptic, man, and where everyone's having to fend for themselves on a somewhat carnal level, man. All right, which is something that women are not accustomed to doing because they're used to being able to manipulate men to get men to make their lives easier. You see, that's what women's usual motive of action is, man. To just look a certain way to get men to do things for them and to manipulate the world in order for men to help them, and men allow them to do this. Because if men was to say at any moment, we're not accepting this no more on a mass level, it wouldn't be happening. It wouldn't happen, man. But anyway, I was watching this video, and it's pretty much just like got loads of different women competing with men in combat sports like sparring or whatever. And the one that stood out was this one here with a woman at 6'5", and she's sparring with a guy that's around like maybe 5'6", 5'7", and I think they said on the video that he was a bantamweight UFC champion, so he's a high level fighter. But this woman's 6'5", right? She's 6'5", probably weighs like a good 3 or 4 stone heavier than this guy, and she picks him up in the air and all that, and he's kind of letting her do it. But then he instantly just switches up and shows her that if he wanted to, he could beat her up, man. And he's 5'6". Now, if you switch that up and make the man be 5'6", right? Make the man be 5'6". I mean, make the woman be 5'6" and a UFC champion, and the man be untrained, but that size. She ain't doing that to him. She ain't gonna be able to do that because a man that's 6'5" is superiorly stronger than a woman. That's of any weight class. If we're being real about it. And that's why the scriptures say stuff like, rise up, you women are at ease, man, because when all hell breaks, in fact, let me get it, man. Let me get it. And stop running my mouth. Isaiah chapter 32 and verse 9. Rise up, you women that are at ease. Hear my voice, ye careless daughters. Give ear unto my speech. Many days and years shall ye be troubled, ye careless women, for the vintage shall fail, the gathering shall not come. And that's going to be all the things that women have been using and abusing to get by in this world are going to be slowly taken away from them. And along with that, he's going to be taken away from the men's simping, because soon, and I got to take it there with this statement I'm going to make, man, soon, the thing that men have been simping for in this world, they're going to be able to get that thing that they've been trying to simp to get without simping, right? Let me just say it like that. Soon, the thing that men have been simping for to try and get from women in this world, they're going to be able to have access to that same thing without simping. You see? They're going to be able to have access to that same thing without having to go out on dates, without having to send a cash app, right? Without having to buy a Birkin bag. And the women are not going to have access to the things that they was requiring from men. They're not going to have access to those things, man, because in the time where women have been free to run around and run this world, they've been being wicked with the freedom that they've been given, right? They've just been running wicked with that, man. And they've been using a power that men gave them against men. But they've been using the power that the wicked man gave them, right? The rulers of this world, Esau. They've been using the powers that he gave them, in particular against the Israelite men. So when the societies get changed over and the kingdom gets translated from the Edomites into the hands of the Israelites, what do you think is going to happen to those women in that time that was hateful to those Israelites? They're going to fall with the person. In fact, you know what? Isaiah chapter 31 and verse 1. Woe to them that go down to Egypt for help, and stay on horses and trust in chariots because there are many, and in horsemen because they are very strong. But they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, neither seek Yahweh. Yet he is also wise and will bring evil, and will not call back his words, but will arise against the house of the evildoers, and against the help of them that work iniquity. Right? Now the Egyptians are men and not God. and their horse is flesh and not spirit. When Yahweh shall stretch out his hand, both he that helpeth shall fall, and he that is holpen shall fall down, and they shall fail together. And the main people that was helped, holpen, right, in this world was the Israelite woman, man. She was helped to be a demon against the Israelite man. She was like the number one assassin, the number one hitman, the number one pit bull on a leash against the Israelite man. And then now you're seeing them complaining all the time, saying that men are burning them out and all of this, and saying that men are saying this about them and men are saying that about them. But they've completely forgot all the things that they were saying about men and all the songs that they were shaking themselves up to, right? Twisting up their ankles, winding up their waistline to in a nightclub, from all them time when TLC was a band and not was a group and all that, and all them time when Destiny's Child first started coming out, spewing their feminist madness as well. They forgot about all that. They forgot about all the times that they've had all those babies of theirs by several different men and made another guy raise it. They tried to hide all of that. They tried to forget about all of that stuff that they was doing. And a lot of these women that are in their 50s now, they was those same women, man. Running the men, our fathers and our uncles and our older cousins or whatever's minds riot, man, being demons. But now that they're old and wash out, they want to try and come back around talking about, nah, this is crazy how women are now, when they was just as wicked as the women before them. They was just as wicked, man. Some of those 50-year-old women now, right, if they was in a time where OnlyFans existed, they'd have had the OnlyFans, man. They'd have had the OnlyFans, the demons, man. So they're going to fall with Esau too, man. They're going to fall, and all these women that are in their 30s and their 20s that are wicked, they're going to fall too. All of them, man. They ain't going to be getting no acceptance from men of the Lord that have been fighting in the time now. A lot of them are not going to get forgiven for how they've been acting right now, man. They're not going to get forgiven, man. A lot of them are not going to be getting forgiven. That's why there's so many scriptures in the Bible burning out women, and that's why there's so many videos that get made about women, man. I've got a playlist of videos that I see brothers doing and the elders and the apostles doing, and it's almost at like 300 videos, man. And I ain't even been adding every single video that I see into that. I've just picked the ones that stand out the most to me, that I think will edify people if they come across that playlist, man. And in regards to women, there's about 300 videos in there, man. So that shows that women's rebuke is a necessary thing to speak about, man. Real necessary. Because they've been going on a mad one out here. Isaiah chapter 32 and verse 11, tremble ye women that are at ease, be troubled ye careless ones, strip you and make you bare, and gird sackcloth upon your loins. They shall lament for the teats, for the present field, for the fruitful vine. So they're going to be wishing for the good old days. Man, they're going to be like, man, I miss those days where men were simping. Man, I wish those days where I could just become a millionaire from taking pictures of myself and putting them on the internet, and I don't have to even see nobody in real life. They're going to be saying all that. They're going to miss those days where they was on a podcast, running wild, stepping on men's feet in their own house, you know, throwing water on men. They're going to miss all that. They're going to miss when that was happening, because now they're going to be in a time where they're having to run away from cannibals. Now they're going to be in a time where any single sound that they hear at nighttime makes them jump out of their skin damn near. And now they're having to like be in an abandoned building somewhere with broken glass, shattered windows, cold as hell, scared, and they can't sleep, man, because they're worried that they're going to get kidnapped or something like that, man. They're worried that this could be the end for them. And that's going to be the thoughts of men too in that time. There's going to be a lot of things that's going to be happening in the time to come that you can't prepare for this, man. You can't prepare for things like this. It's either going to be in you to be able to handle it or not, man, through the Spirit of the Lord. It's not just going to be a thing where you can just switch it on and say, oh, I'm going to activate post-apocalyptic warlord mode. No, that's not how it's going to work, man. But women think that. They don't think that there's ever going to be a time where men will not just simp over them. Because their evidence that they've seen from in this Babylon, the great controlled world, shows that would be true. 2 Ezra chapter 15, and let me go up in fact. 2 Ezra chapter 15 and verse 6. For wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. And part of that wickedness is how women are acting right now. It's not by chance that so many videos get spoken about how women are wicked, man. It's not a mistake. This is being done for a reason, because women are going to be judged heavily in the day of Yahweh's wrath. In particular, the Israelite woman. Man. Just like how the Israelite man's going to be judged in that time too. Therefore saith Yahweh, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit, neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually. And some of those souls got sent back up to Yahweh because their moms did it, man, while they was in the womb. Some of those souls. Jump down to verse 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the cause of their actions shall stand in their power. So in that time where everybody can do whatever they want to do, and if they've got the power to do that, it's going to come to pass. Women are not going to be the ones that are ruling that time, and that video showed that perfectly, man. That woman was big, and she got taken down easily with the first serious takedown attempt that the guy did while he was sparring, and all the other videos on here show the same thing, man. Women cannot compete with men in a physical sense, man. Whether they think they can or not, they can't compete with men in a physical sense. It's just not how Yahweh made men and women. Now, can a woman use a weapon? Can a woman use a modern day sword, aim it at a man and pull the trigger, and that man's not alive anymore? Of course. But men are even more skilled at doing that too. That's why the most of the armies have men in them. Because if women was better at that stuff, you best believe that they'd be getting recruited more. And they'd be able to pass the tests and all of these things, the fitness tests, great at the same level that men have to go through to pass those things. But they don't have to. They don't have to. And anybody that's serious about combat sports, or ever been serious about combat sports and all these kind of things, or has ever played any kind of sport in their life, or even watch sports, it's clear that men are physically greater than women. And anybody that don't want to accept that is just lost, man. They're just lost. And they're lying to themselves, because they ain't tricking us with that. Verse 17, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, for because of their pride the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with a sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. So men are not going to be having mercy on people. Men are not going to be having no pity on people. And one of the main things that men show in this world towards women is pity and mercy, right? And that's why women are able to get away with committing murder in this world, and they get lighter sentences, man. They get lighter sentences. That's why women are able to go out to the nightclub, get up in the damn near 7 foot bouncer's face, try and attack him with their high heel, right? And everybody can see that she's doing that. And then as soon as the bouncer gets into attack mode now after the people seeing that woman attack that man for the last 5 minutes, now all of a sudden everybody wants to realize that she's a female and that he shouldn't have did nothing. But she was a female all the time. She was trying to kickbox him up. When she was trying to go Mortal Kombat on his ass, she was a female all in that time too. And she knew that then. But in the time to come, all of that stuff, people ain't going to care no more, man. People are going to be too hungry to be caring about let's give some extra rights to any kind of a person. They ain't going to even care about somebody that's disabled, man. They'll steal a disabled person's last apple straight up and tip them out their wheelchair, man. And I'm not even trying to say that to be funny. People are going to be evil towards each other in the time to come, man. They ain't going to care about none of that stuff. They ain't going to care about none of that friendly lifestyle that people are living now. All of that stuff's going to be done away with, man. Isaiah chapter 13 Let me prove something. Isaiah chapter 13 and verse 15. Everyone that is found shall be thrust through, and everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. Their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes. Their houses shall be spoiled, and their wives ravished. So people are not going to be nice to each other in the time to come, man. They're not going to be nice to each other. People are going to be completely like evil, man. There's even a scripture, I can't remember exactly where it is, man, but it says, what does it say, man? It says that they're not going to regard ransom, man. So there ain't going to be no kind of monetary value that you're going to be able to throw up to try and escape out of judgment in that time if Yahweh set for you to receive judgment. And that's why ultimately you women need to repent, man. Stop being proud, right? Stop being proud, man, and think of more like what the scriptures say about a woman in terms of the biblical concept, not in terms of what the world says, right? Now let me just read a few verses. This is Proverbs chapter 31 and verse 10. Who can find a virtuous woman? For a price is far above rubies. Because if a man finds a woman that's down for him 100% more than anybody of any other man on the earth, he'll be happy. And that's why Yahweh hasn't gave us that in this lifetime, because he don't want us to be happy, man. He don't want us to be happy right now. He wants us to be happy in the kingdom. The heart of her husband doth safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil. But that ain't how it is now. No man trusts his white woman right now 100%. He don't trust her, man. No man trusts his woman. I don't believe that. No man trusts his woman 100%. With all the 25,000 avenues that she's got to try and get attention from people out here. This isn't no real world, man, as it stands right now for an Israelite man. This is hell on earth right now. Proverbs chapter 31 and verse 12. She will do him good and evil all the days of her life. Now, can you women out there say that? Can you women out there say that you do your husband's good all the days of your life? Or are you going to think about how he don't do you good all the days of your life? So why should you do him good all the days of his life? Is that what the first thing you thought was? If so, you're a demon. And get ready for the flames that are coming. How about that? Get ready for this if you're one of those people that's thought like that when I read this. Micah chapter 7 and verse 10. Then she that is mine enemy shall see it, and shame shall cover her, which said unto me, where is Yahweh thy power? Mine eyes shall behold her. Now she shall be trodden down as the mire of the streets. So if you're a woman that thinks like that, just get ready, man. Get yourself to kickboxing class. Get yourself to boxing class. Learn how to grapple, right? Start thinking that you're a warrior then, and get ready to try and see how you fare by yourself. Let's see what would happen if the Israelite man says, you know what, we're going to do our own thing, right? And the Israelite woman says, you know what, we're going to do our own thing as Israelite women, right? And the Israelite man says, we're going to do our own thing and we're just going to be against everybody else that ain't an Israelite then. And the Israelite woman should say, you know what, we're going to do our own thing and we're going to be against everybody else that isn't an Israelite woman. Who do you think's going to stand at the end of that? Is Yahweh going to choose the Israelite man over the Israelite woman? No, he's not. No chance. Because he's sending an Israelite man to save the Israelites. Yahweh Shai. So for all you women that are thinking that you're going to be some feminists and all that, all you Israelite women thinking you're going to be some feminists and escape and think that the Israelite man's oppressing you, well, go and run to everybody else that you think you're going to get help from them, and we're going to see what happens at the end of that. When that karogma gets made mandatory, yeah, we're going to see what he's saying then, man. We're going to see. Revelation chapter 13 and verse 16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a karogma in their right hand or in their foreheads. Now, we're going to see what you women do when that happens, man. When they're saying you can't have access to none of the things you used to have access to before unless you've got this. We're going to see. We're going to see if all them fake values that you had and all that talk that you had out of your mouth, he's going to be able to take you out of this time. We're going to see, and we're going to find out that no, it could not. And that's going to cause for a lot of you women to humble down, man. But some of you still ain't going to get accepted, man. Because you ain't right in the head. So you better start humbling it now, man. Instead of thinking that it's a game. because there's not nothing funny about this. Isaiah chapter 4 and verse 1. And in that day 7 women shall take hold, and in that day 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. So they ain't gonna be saying, man, you need to. You think you're just gonna take me to what? You think you're just gonna take me to Waffle House? Nah, you need to take me to Salt Bays. You know, they ain't gonna say, nah, you think you're just gonna take me to Nando's? Nah, I wanna go down to one of them nice places in Brindley Place. Now, you think you're just gonna take me to Nando's? Nah, I'm not accepting that. You need to take me Shard. You know, they ain't gonna be saying none of that, man. They ain't gonna be doing TikToks talking about some he's a 10, but he does this and all that, or talking about how a man needs to step their money up and all this, and talking about what qualities they need to become submissive to a man. All that stuff's gonna go right out the window when all hell breaks loose, man. Oh, my price to be submissive to a man and all that is he has to make this a year. We're gonna see how much that stands when all hell breaks loose. Because in that time, we're going to be arrogant like that. Our price for us to accept you coming anywhere near a radius of us is going to be that you need to have not been a hoe during the time where you had the ability to do that and not receive the judgments of the Lord. Oh, you failed? Get out of my face. That's what we're going to be talking like in that time, man. Arrogant, just like how you is arrogant now. But we're going to be arrogant in righteousness. Verse 1 again. And in that day 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our approach. And for all you men that say, man, we don't need you guys anyway, forget who you're talking about. Well, there's something for you for that too. Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 25. Thy men shall fall by the sword, and thy mighty in the war, and her gates shall lament and mourn, and she being desolate shall sit upon the ground. So all the men that you think that you've got access to now, a lot of them are going to fade out, man, because they're considered the so-called high-value men of this time because they're wicked. But Yahweh's going to be purging out those people in the time to come. And he's going to make the men that believe in him the men that are the highest value men of that time. That's just how it's going to work, man. Whether you believe it or not. And on that, I'm going to end the lesson. All praises to Yahweh Ba'Sham Yahweh Shai, Ba'Sham Rakah Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elected nation of Israel. Shalom.